Hello and welcome to episode 25, part 2 of our Warlock journey. We find ourselves in Stranglethorn Vale, Goal, and we're going to start by flying up to Kargath, or Searing Gorge. Kargath. We'll do the court quest first, I guess. That'll be the easiest thing to do. Yes, not much longer. Fly up. And we do want to do Sunken Temple as well at some point. Oh, Zulfarak completely finished. Croc Depth and Sunken Temple for the next main things, I think, as far as dungeons are concerned. I wish they had a little checkbox for not showing 60s. That would be really helpful while leveling, because you can't join Blackrock Depths with the 60. It's a lockout, and 60s don't get locked out. You can't party. Oh, That's the only way you survive it. Used to be nuts. Properly crazy nuts. So I'm going to keep tracking this because I want to be reminded to go and get the flight point. We want to do court. And then we have a whole bunch of other stuff around the towers and that. Eyeglass, smithing tier. I've got silk cloth. Need to kill the geologists. They seem to be respawning. Okay, well, that's 4. Hmm. What are they doing? Oh, they're just trying to grief. Is that it? Aggro everything and dump it on me? Yep. So, need to the glass web spiders. And then we need 15 more of these spider legs. Might as well make these lookouts while we're here. Oh, we need to start the story. Awesome. Lookout done. Yeah, we better do more of these spiders and then talk to do Warlock's story, Divine Retribution. The overdue package is Dust Willow Marsh, and the good steel's balanced is Swamp of Sorrows, which we'll go to after here. Hey Pixel Peach, it's going well. We're making quite a bit of progress towards 55. And we just started questing in the Searing Gorge, so there's plenty left to do. My favourite zone ever, I mean for atmosphere, it has to be Tirisfal Glades. It sets the tone for everything to do with the undead spectacularly. I don't think I can really fault it. For questing in general, I think probably Ungoro Crater. It's got a good amount of feel to it. It's got lots of different things to do. There are a ton of quests. And everything just kind of flows nicely one thing into the next. Right, Hinterlands is a close second though, I think, from a questing point of view. Can you figure out how to get into Ungoro now? It's not hard. Like down here, there's this little path and a ramp which leads straight in. But yeah, it's kind of cool to stand at the cliff and look over and down as well. He's still flying. You still fall. Flame. Right. Unlocked our golem oils things. So I want to those off the magma elementals. No, I've been a Warlock main since 2005, basically. Played Warlock a long time. Warlock was the first hardcore 60 I made, but sadly we died due to a pathing bug and elite mobs. The Voidwalker went really weird when dropping down. I was doing the Lunar Festival, like speaking to all the elders and the coins, and there's a spot near Zul'Gurub where you can jump up some walls and run along the side to where the Elder is. Jump down onto a statue plinth, and then slide down and talk to the Elder. And all of that should have gone very, very easily. But we jumped down, and instead of the Voidwalker appearing next to us on the left, it didn't even path oddly. It just we jumped down, and it appeared here, to the right, and about 10 foot in front of us, and pulled 3 elites. It was really, really bizarre. Well, you kind of can do that. You can enslave the demon rather than tame it. It doesn't last for as long, but it is possible. You've got subjugate demon. Yeah, it would be nice if we could keep them. But we kind of do. Just we have our set types of pet, don't we? Yeah, well, I mean, having some options is nice. I haven't played retail in a really long time now, though, so I can't really speak much about it. Sadly, it all felt a bit weird the last time I looked at it, which was in, what was that, Battle for Azeroth? It had all changed a lot since then, because the last time I properly played was Mr. Pandaria. So the Need of Freedom, got those Art of Flame and Golem Oil. Next focus. Now once you play Warlock for long enough, especially in the classic version of the game, that you can do so much. And a lot of people don't realise just how good Warlock is. They don't quite realise just what you can accomplish. Well, mana management in Classic, I would say, is only tricky if you're leveling, if you're not really going the right spec or build particularly. So a lot of people... What level is your Warlock? I mean, that's the first question. Your classic Warlock. 22. I would suggest going Demonology for leveling. I know a lot of people rave about Affliction, but if you actually stop and think about it, you get very little for your early level Affliction talents. Like, people really love instant cast Corruption, and I'm not saying it's not good, but it's only a quality of life talent. It's not a talent that actually helps you in any way, really. Open these up. So, like when you're leveling Affliction, especially, people tend to go like the improved Corruption, 3 points suppression, 2 points improved life tap, and that improves mana efficiency, but like, that's it. And then you've got your Fell Concentration, which only matters if things are hitting you. It's more of an end game talent than an early leveling talent. If you've got a Voidwalker, for example, Nightfall adds a little bit of damage, but it's not until you get Siphon Life at 30 that anything actually sort of picks up and gives you something. That's the first bit of extra damage, or the first bit of like proper power that you get as Affliction. Whereas if you level as Demonology, your early first talents, you get 5 points in Demonic Embrace, which instantly gives you more survivability. You get 3 points improved Voidwalker, which turns your Voidwalker A into something that will hold threat permanently. I mean, well, you can see even now it's got absolutely no issue holding threat. And the key to mana management as a Warlock is wanding rather than using Shadow Bolt. So if I spammed Shadow Bolt after I finished putting up dots, I'd send myself out of mana really, really, really quickly. I'd constantly be stopping and drinking. The things would die faster, but I'd be constantly out of mana. Whereas if you're wanding, you've got your dots, and you're letting your natural mana regen kick in. So, for like leveling gear, Spirit on gear is actually really valuable, because it enables you to just keep on going. You don't need to stop. You can just keep on and on and on and on pulling. And once you've got Master Summoner, like at higher levels like this, the Voidwalker will run out of mana at some point. You just summon a new one because you've got no mana issues. And then you do the same thing again and again. And there's no stopping or pausing or anything like that. You just keep playing, and that's why I love leveling as Demo. And it also, the improved Voidwalker improves your sacrifice, and its AoE taunt by 30% as well. And the only difference between Demonology leveling and Affliction leveling really is that, like, people with Affliction will try and multi-dot at higher levels. Like, you don't want to do that. If you've pulled multiple mobs, just let everything hit the Voidwalker. If the Voidwalker gets low and is going to die, sacrifice it for a shield. If you're in a really horrible situation, obviously Fel Domination to get a new one, but usually you can simply summon a fresh Voidwalker as a 6-second cast because of the Master Summoner at the reduced cost. And because you haven't dotted everything, when you resummon the new Voidwalker, all it actually needs to do is hit the mobs once, and it's got threat. And you're in 0 danger. So in Dungeons 2, yes, I would definitely go demo in Dungeons 2. So the end game spec, what this is going to look like eventually. Like this is an Affliction build that I'm not playing right now, which goes up to Shadow Mastery, which increases all of your shadow spell damage by 10%. And it's got some Curse of Exhaustion stuff. Whatever. This is going to work up to and finish on Demonic Sacrifice. So it'll be a SMDS build. But you've got 2 choices with Demonology. You can cap out with Soul Link, which is much more of a PvP talent, or what I'm going to do with this build. I've taken all of this up to get Master Demonologist, and as you can see, like, this gives you more options, especially for end game dungeons and raiding. So once a Warlock starts to get gear, a lot of how much damage you can do is actually determined by how much threat you're causing. And so having the imp out during raids to reduce your threat by 20% can actually, once you're in like super gear, help you do more damage than being in a Affliction spec. But it also gives you the survivability with the Fel Domination for a shield if you need it, which can be huge. But the Affliction talents will still get improved corruption, suppression. Because we're primarily playing with the Voidwalker, we don't really need the Fel concentration because everything's hitting the Voidwalker anyway. That might change at endgame once you've got like a ton of spell power gear, because you're going to do more damage, so you're going to pull threat off your pet faster, and then things will be hitting you. But free spell power gear, you do not need Fel concentration at all. It is a complete waste of a talent, and so it's actually better to have the improved drain life. But like, once you do have spell power gear, if you are pulling threat off your pet, the opposite is true. And eventually we'll get Nightfall and Siphon Life, so that we'll have an extra dot for multi-dotting in dungeons, and we can potentially stop using Immolate at that point. But whereas with the Affliction tree, your Shadow Mastery only increases your shadow spells. If with the Demonology tree in a dungeon you didn't want to use your Voidwalker, you can use the Succubus, and that will increase all your damage by 10%, not just shadow. So you can potentially still get benefit out of Immolate. I mean, doing that does, like, it gets you an extra dot to put up on bosses in the form of Siphon Life. So I'm not entirely sure how this performs raiding, but for dungeons it's good. You're sacrificing like 20 points in destruction, but like you're sacrificing improved Shadowbolt Bane for the half a second off your Shadowbolt cast. You're sacrificing Devastation for your destruction crits, and Destructive Reach, kind of. But you have another dot rolling instead. And like with the debuff limit having been removed, I think that becomes more viable. I obviously haven't tried it raiding yet, but at some point, like the Ruin builds would probably take over again for being better at raiding, I'm sure. But certainly for some bosses, what I'm using as a leveling spec might be fine. And if you do ever get to a point where your damage is capped by your threat, then Demonology is a clear winner. Yeah, a lot of people underestimate spirit gear for Warlock leveling. Like they read the samey guides that all say only stamina and int, spirit is trash. Well, it depends how you're trying to approach combat, really, as to whether it's trash or not. Like if you're spamming Shadowbolt and going and stopping and drinking all the time, sure. Spirit would be really bad, but if you're dotting and wanding, in much more of a survival spec, then I mean, as you see, like I have absolutely zero mana issues. I think each combat takes, it's something like 4 to 6 seconds longer than it would otherwise have taken to kill the mob. But at the same time, not only am I not getting low mana and needing to stop and drink, I'm also not getting low health and being in any danger at all. So if I was in a situation where things went poorly, I'd have all of my resources available to tackle it, rather than being low and suddenly finding myself in an awkward spot. Yeah, think of it like a tank. You just keep rolling on, and you never stop. I mean, it certainly plays better for her hardcore, anyway. I see so many clips of like Affliction Warlocks in the death compilations, and they're all doing the same thing. They've got a succubus out. They're trying to drain tank like 3 mobs at once, and then they pull some extra stuff, and then it all goes horribly wrong and they die. what do I like best about the Warlock? Just the sheer amount of control that you have. So if things went really, really horribly badly, and I got suddenly layered by mistake, and I was suddenly in combat with like 5 mobs, I wouldn't be worried. I'd be considering that the Voidwalker would probably die, but by then 3 of the mobs would probably be dead, and the second Voidwalker would tank everything else, and I'd not be stressed. And like that's not even needing to use fear to control the situation at all. You can just control it and be fine. If you put a warrior or a shaman in a situation like that, you would immediately be looking to run for the hills because 5 mobs, yikes, you know? I also really like how Warlock synergizes with alchemy for self-found leveling anyway. Like the Mighty Troll's Blood is really useful. It basically gives you a second health regen passive. And having the extra armor and other stuff is useful too, kind of. Yeah, as I said, it's not necessarily about being defensive. It's about controlling everything. I think it's going into a situation with a plan, knowing what's going to happen, knowing what could go wrong. The other thing you want to always make sure, if you're not doing it already, is to keep your health at around about 80%. So do try it out. You always want to keep both of your resources ticking up. Like that's why you don't want to be max health, so that you get the most benefit out of your demon armor and your potions. Because then effectively you've got 2 lots of resources ever increasing. Well, catch you later. last one spider to go. So, golem oil. Already got the lookout stuff. Spiders. Right, let's hand these in.
I buy and trade for the Alliance. See you around.
So thorium plated daggers is the same time as this job opportunity. So we want to go into the tunnels to accomplish that. We can look to do Overseer Maltorius at the same time, potentially. But we'll hand in the last couple of quests we've completed. I think it will be time for me to prepare some food.
Here there. Watch your back. What's on your mind? Be good. Off with you. Watch your back.
Yeah, so we'll fly back to Kargath.
Look, Tom. Bring it.
Sell what we've got. Oh, I should have trained corruption on the way. I want Hellfire. Oops. only the corruption would really have made much difference. But still, we should have trained it.
Blood and thunder.
Okay.
With
Oh,
honor.
that's 4 gold. Good, good. So, pause here now while I get some food, and then we'll continue on a little bit later. But another couple of nice people today that have dropped by the stream. Thank you very much for that. And for now, I will say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.